To know my friend Elmer was to know a good man who spent his life honorably and traditionally, earning a living on the water. This is where he did almost all of it, in Western Bay off the coast of Maine, in a wooden lobster boat called the Marion P., named after his wife. In the time Emily and I knew Elmer, less than 10 years, he worked side by side with his daughter Joan. The family often shared their lobstering world with visitors, if you were willing to get up early enough in the morning and to pack a lunch. Where Elmer and Joan were going, there would be no fast food restaurants. Of course, dinner was never a problem. Back in her kitchen, Marion would provide you with as much of the daily catch as you were willing to buy. Marion handled the finances of the family. When we first met Elmer while on vacation, I thought he was an immigrant from Great Britain, which probably only demonstrated my ignorance. In fact, Elmer's ancestors had come to this isolated part of down East Maine more than 200 years ago, and I think the families just never lost their British accents. Like Elmer and Joan, most of them made their living from the sea, and a bridge to their island was a relatively recent development. Elmer spent 2 years in the U.S. Navy right after World War II. His fellow sailors had the same reaction to his accent as I had. They called him limey. It was in those years that Elmer got the tattoo on his left arm, a youthful indulgence you seldom saw until he rolled up his sleeves to work. But other than with his military service, Elmer seldom sailed far from the place of his birth. He was a leader in a small island church. He didn't use alcohol or tobacco. And when he got together with friends, he particularly enjoyed singing gospel hymns. Elmer was a staunch Republican, but we agreed early on not to discuss politics and became friends. Elmer taught us to love the ocean, hard work, Maine, and New England. He introduced us to some amazing wildlife, the fauna that share his island with the people who live here, and the spectacular flora that nature delivers to this unique environment. We wanted to learn more from Elmer, but just as the 7 decades of working on the ocean sustained him, the long exposure to the sun may have also killed him. Elmer died of an aggressive form of skin cancer. It was diagnosed only last fall. But he and Joan had also lost Marion earlier this year. Cancer took her too. And I think Elmer decided it was time to fish in other waters. I bet he's already setting his traps off the shores of a better island. And tonight, some angel will get a fresh lobster dinner. We will miss you, my captain.